Christmas Spirit is a 2011 film. It's directed by David DeCoteau, written by Andrew Helm, and we have a cast including Jaeger. And this is also known as I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. And I had a look at some of the reviews on IMDb because it's not got a great rating on there. I didn't think it was so bad, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But a lot of the low ratings are because it was advertised, I believe, on Netflix in the States under the title A Christmas Puppy. And all I can say is, if you're looking for a dog-based Christmas film, this really isn't it. The dog just isn't a main feature at all. So that's definitely not great. But that aside, as long as you're not expecting a dog-heavy Christmas film, it's okay. To be honest, the specifics of the narrative are kind of boring, but I thought Riley was a really likeable character, and I was really keen to follow his journey. At the start of the film, we learn that he and his mother are not going to have a very wealthy Christmas, put it that way. Money's very tight, and Riley, to his credit, instead of being a grumpy typical teenager, he was supportive, he was thoughtful, and he said, it's okay, I'm not a huge fan of Christmas anyway. He's clearly trying to make his mother feel better, which I think is great. And then he is visited by Hope, played by Vanessa Angel, and Hope is basically a spirit of Christmas, and she tells Riley that he needs to help another family discover or rediscover the spirit of Christmas and to follow the signs. And that's basically the bulk of the film, Riley spending time with this family and helping them to reconnect as a family and to rediscover the Christmas spirit and the magic of Christmas. But to be honest, the activities in the film are very bland. Not a lot happens, and the characters are kind of boring, apart from Riley and Hope. Hope's not in it all the way through, of course, but Riley I did really like as a character, and I thought that he was really interesting, and I was really happy to follow his journey. The other characters are not the most interesting. I think Winnie was okay, I quite liked her, but in general, the characters were just a little bit dull, and when we have a narrative that's not that interesting, at least in terms of the specifics, I think the overarching concept is really great, but the execution is very dull. They could have also made it a lot more Christmassy by having a lot more kind of traditional Christmas activities. We do have a Christmas tree, some decorations, some red and green clothing, so there are elements of Christmas in there. But if it had been more festive, or if the events had been more interesting, or if the characters had been more fascinating, it would have been a much better film. Otherwise, I think it's basically just an average film. But I don't think it's as bad as the ratings say on IMDb. It currently has 3.8 out of 10 across 161 reviews and ratings. But as I said, I had a quick look just to see what the problems were, because as I said, I didn't think it was that bad. And yeah, a lot of people are saying it was called A Christmas Puppy on Netflix, and no, it's not. It's not a Christmas puppy film. There's also a puppy in general with a little bow on the DVD. I bought the DVD. The UK release is called I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. And yeah, there's a puppy dog front and centre and a Santa Claus beside him. It looks like a very magical Christmas film, and it definitely does not live up to the advertising. But nevertheless, I thought it was fine. The overarching narrative has some really good messages, and Riley is a really likable protagonist. I quite liked the character of Hope. Everything else, pretty basic, pretty average, but it's definitely not terrible. It's a very easy watch if you're wanting something just to put on in the background, maybe while you're doing other things, or you're maybe not in the mood for something that requires a lot of concentration, then it's okay. If it appeals to you, if there's something about this that might work for you, then give it a go. Definitely a lot of room for improvement, but in general, Christmas Spirit, or I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, or A Christmas Puppy is definitely not a bad film.